this channel, we have talked a lot about the Trash Taste podcast, and they have found themselves in a lot of controversy.
I remember that.
Oftentimes involving their takes on anime. A lot of people consider them normies, or they're saying things that are hypocritical, or they have guests like Hasan Piker on their podcast. But
they're lefties.
A lot of that is on Western Twitter. We see a lot of outrage on Western Twitter, but this time things are a little bit different. This post would go viral, where apparently some Japanese users are upset about the Trash Taste podcast.
Of course
and I want to check out this Hero Hey video
because they're retarded.
Going over this subject. It is titled "Japan is Very Upset."
Ooh, reaction to a reaction.
Taste.
Here we go.
Let's see what this is all about.
People in Japan are calling out the Trash Taste podcast. You know, you got Gigguk, Sea-Dog VA, and Joey the Anime Man. This controversy specifically involves Joey the Anime Man. We'll play the clip. It's about a minute and a half long, and you can see that there's subtitles on here, Japanese subtitles, because again, this has been going around Japan. And then we'll take a look at what Japanese people are saying about it.
Like, I'm actually very curious to hear what this goes into, because I have never seen the full context, so I'm right here with you, chat. Like, I'm gonna find out what's going on, and it's always interesting to see very popular English-speaking anime podcasts kind of like transition over into the Japanese side of Twitter, and also just like
don't say transition
type channels in general, to see what they're thinking, because what happens on the Western side of social media is very different than what happens on the Japanese side. There was a brief moment in time where there was a big overlap. There was a
Bro, I keep getting Japanese people on all of my social media, and I love it. I stopped seeing them on X for some reason. I want to go back to seeing them on X.
Crisscross, a crossover episode where Japanese users were showing up on the Western side of Twitter on their feeds nonstop. And it was very interesting to see what their side of Twitter was like. It was a lot more
I wish it wouldn't have stopped.
Eventually they got rid of that as well. But let's hear this clip right now.
Why they do
figure
that?
Out the context.
Like so many anime set in high school.
I think I know why. There was probably way too many fights going on because Japanese people don't like American leftoids, and Europeans for that matter. But there's more so Americans.
Why is that? Like, is that a cultural thing?
It's a cultural thing.
Why so?
It's because it's, for a lot of people, like, high school is kind of seen as, like, this basically, like, golden time.
Right? That, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really fucking
It's like, for a lot of people, high school is, like, you know, the whole thing of, like, in the West of, like, high school is, like, you know, usually movies that are based in high school in the West are based off bad memories.
Yeah.
You know, being like, oh, man, my high school fucking sucked, blah, blah, blah. There were all these shit people, the jocks, the bullies, blah, blah, blah. Right? That's the norm in the West. In Japan,
I went to a lot of parties.
It's glorified because to a lot of people, high school was a
I was kind of cool. I would go so far as to say I might have been the coolest one in my school. But there wasn't very many people, and it was like a small redneck town, so it wasn't hard to be the coolest guy in school. I had internet, so I was able to have a lot more culture than a lot of other people.
A really fun time with like friends they'll never get back, and like because it's also the last years of that person being young and free.
I mean, I liked high school, but I wouldn't say Agretzko, the new season.
Oh, yeah?
It's good. It's good. Very refreshing.
Yeah.
Depressing as always.
Depressing as fuck, yes.
I think it's a lot more simple than that. A lot of people in the target audience are, in fact, high school students, and also that period of life is, in fact, a very relatable and nostalgic one for a lot of people. I mean, look at television, right? All the sitcoms, all the teen drama type stuff. It's a very popular genre all the time across the board. So I don't know why people get so mad. Well, I know why, because people just want to hate on anime in Japan. But they get so upset when they see a large volume of high school based anime. It's very interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's all right.
Which is great to see.
I like some of them.
One of the only anime out there that will actually like commentate on adult life in Japan and be realistic about
Yeah,
it.
but it also says a lot when no one knows about it in Japan.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, I don't like life anime. What do you call slice of life? I don't like that shit.
It is.
It's so Japanese, but like
I like swords and blood and war.
It's such a good take on the Japanese work life.
Awesome.
How awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, it's ironic that this is coming from the same company that, you know, made Hello Kitty.
Yeah,
right?
just to put it into perspective, like,
アグレッシブで使で
stuff. And it's a shame that it's not being Japan, 'cause I feel like it could make waves. Maybe it's too real.
I think it is. I think it's just purely the fact that, you know, a Japanese person will look at that and be like, I don't want to see this because it's just going to remind me of reality. And
Wait a second.
What?
Are they just saying that, like, everyone in Japan is miserable about whether it's, like, work or school, and seeing...
Not the people that I know. Maybe, like, the actual business people? I don't know, dude. Everybody that I know from Japan, they love life. They love everything. I think they're just kind of talking out of their asses as white Westerners who, you know, indulge in... I think they don't really indulge in Japanese culture. I think they indulge in the American Japanese culture, even though they're not Americans. But it's like, that's the kind of shit that they're into. The shit that Americans are into, that Japanese people really aren't into.
Seeing that replicated and represented in anime makes them upset. Is that what they're saying? Am I missing something? Because that's crazy if that's what they're saying.
Yeah, they don't know what they're talking
so a lot
about.
of Japanese people, that's not the reason why they watch anime.
Welcome to Leftoids. They just say shit.
Interestingly enough, Joey's answer is basically the same answer you get from Google when you type in, why is so much anime set in high school?
Yeah.
Brutal.
You think Google knows what's going on in regular Japanese life? Japanese people aren't really using, like, Google. I mean, obviously a lot of people are, but most of the time they're using Japanese apps, or they're just not using apps. They're not on their phones like we are. Once again, they are on their phones. They're on their phones a fucking lot, but they're doing different things than we are.
Brutal, ladies and gentlemen.
And Google actually sources Reddit, so Reddit comments, you know, as if that's factual. It actually sources the clip that we just watched from Trash Days
your
Podcast.
sign.
And some other, like, YouTube stuff, Anime News Network, CBR. These are not really great resources.
No.
It's very, like, westernized stuff trying to answer this.
Tourist
And for
info.
those that don't know, by the way, Google somewhat recently signed a agreement with Reddit to use Reddit for training data for Gemini. So a lot...
It's over. If it wasn't obvious already, Google search results are completely cooked. They're absolutely cooked to begin with. It's just like all of the wackadoos on social media who Google search lolly, right? And they use the Google definition to then go out and harass people, even though the Google definition is wrong because it's based on wrong information that anyone can submit, right? And now you want to incorporate Reddit, which is...
Yeah, when it comes to culture, Google has no fucking idea. It can give you, like, hard facts on things, like when a game came out or something, or when a thing happened in history, but it's not going to tell you what the thing is actually that happened in history. They can just tell you when, because it's manipulated by a bunch of fucking leftoids on Reddit.
Is like wackadoo central. That's a big problem. Also, like, trying to find anything, like, if you're actually searching for something on Google these days, I don't know if you guys can relate.
I just don't.
It's, like, impossible to find what you're actually looking for. It's very annoying.
A lot of the time, and this...
Unfortunately, I fucking hate Grok. I use Grok for most of my searches because it's just the best out of everything right now. It's worse than Google a decade ago, but it's better than everything else right now. I try and use Brave and it lies to me all the time, so I quit using Brave AI, Leo, whatever it's called, and I've got Grok. I've got X open constantly so I can just open Grok because fuck Grok.com.
This is a complete side note, by the way. This is like a very important issue, actually.
It is.
A lot of the time when you Google something these days, it will source Reddit as if literal random people on Reddit and their random comments are factual sources of information.
Well, hold on, Hero Hey. Hold on, buddy. Have you considered the fact that Reddit users have an extremely high IQ? I mean, they're practically philosophers over there. They're much more
High IQ is such a fucking scam.
qualified to weigh in on issues. So I definitely trust the Redditors more than anyone else.
They're obviously not. Now, that aside, I went to the source of this clip, and that clip's actually from a 4-year-old video that they posted, so I don't know if their opinions on this has shifted or not. Nevertheless, it's in the news again now, so let's take a look at what Japanese people are saying about that clip. This account, Masaru, going on to summarize the clip that we just watched, and, you know, they're talking about, like, why is so much anime set in high school? And the user going on to comment this. I think this is a pretty sloppy take on Japan. First off, people who still love school anime, even as adults, couldn't possibly have had, quote, fun high school days, unquote. If anything, the ones who truly enjoyed high school probably don't cling so strongly to school anime, even after growing up. Quick side note, by the way, I forgot to mention this currently has 3.6. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. This currently has
relatable moment right there where Twitter is now like auto playing videos all the time. It's super annoying, but anyways.
3.6 million
X is
views on
getting
Twitter and
worse.
12,000 likes. So let's continue.
Dude, I saw that. What's his name from The World's End, Shaun of the Dead? I saw that he's playing Balrog in the new Lord of the Rings season, and I've seen it like 50 fucking times. And I'm just like, yeah, this obviously isn't a marketing campaign pushing this on people, because I've seen it 50 fucking times today and I haven't even interacted with it.
Where we left off. In reality, plenty of people would say their school days were awful because human relationships and their range of activities were narrow with no escape. Plus, Japanese people don't just watch anime. Dramas and movies dealing with working life, poverty, family issues, crime, healthcare, and politics are normally popular too. The explanation that, quote, Japanese people escape into anime because they don't want to face dark realities, unquote, doesn't explain Japan at all. Manga's the same. Say that after watching something I wish I could read. Too many overseas anime fans talk about Japan like it's...
Like, I don't play video games to get away from real life. I'm playing a video game right now, and I am engaging in real life. I'm just, experiencing. I don't fucking know. It's like, I like real life. Why would I want to escape it? I don't use video games for escapism. I think most people don't use video games for escapism, because they're still connected to real life when they're playing their video games. It's not like they're just like, while their brain is in a game. Children do that.
It's a country made solely of shonen anime.
The COVID weebs. Thank you very much. Yeah, they literally think that shonen is the only genre of anime out there.
Yeah. I've got a friend that loves, in quotes, loves anime. All he watches is shonen. It's kind of annoying when I'm like, hey, bro, here's some badass anime that you would love. And he's like, nah, I'd rather watch One Piece. And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, okay, cool. But don't tell me that you love anime when all you watch is shonen. I don't know. I'm being nitpicky.
They literally believe that. They watch Dragon Ball and maybe like Jujutsu Kaisen or something like that, and they're like, yeah, that represents what everyone's watching over in Japan. All the other stuff is weird and niche, and nobody watches that, and then they proceed to call you like a bunch of buzzwords for watching anything outside of the most popular shonen anime.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's literally my friend that I'm talking about. He gives me shit because I'm watching stuff like Neon Genesis Evangelion and Wolf's Rain, or like Ninja Scroll. I know those are all old, but like that's the kind of shit that I'm into. Or I'll watch Free Run and be like, isn't that for girls? I'm like, what? Watch it, bro. Just watch it.
That's a hood weeb moment right there, isn't it? That's a tourist moment right there, isn't it?
There you go.
And even when they sell themselves as living in Japan, they're people with hardly any connection to Japanese society, just living within the foreigner community, like the 3 people in that video. Living in Japan and understanding Japanese society are 2 different things, right? Don't go overthinking a few anime and your own experiences let you explain the values of over 100 million people. Look, the fact of the matter is there's a variety of reasons why anime is sometimes set in high school. And one thing that people haven't mentioned yet is it is a narrative device. This is not the case all the time. Like I said, it varies. But one example is it being a narrative device. And what I mean by that is having a younger character means that character doesn't have as much history. Now, of course, there's caveats to that too. You could find a young character that actually has a very complex history or a traumatic history. But there's times when a character is used, and it's specifically a young character is used rather, because they want to start with somewhat of a blank slate and tell the story from there. So that is another reason why you might see this happening on occasion. Also, the school setting is a very easy way to introduce multiple characters, obviously. So that's another reason too. My point is, like I said initially, there is a variety of explanations for this. It really depends on the nuance around the story that's being told. And in the responses, people also pointed out that anime is not the only medium that uses high school as a setting, and Western media actually does that somewhat frequently as well.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned too. Like, high school settings are extremely popular for a lot of Western television, or even television in other countries as well outside of Japan. Like, I don't understand why anyone thinks this would be unique in any sort of a way to anime. It's I don't know.
It's because they don't know. They're just talking out of their ass.
It's a
like literally everything.
It's not just a device, but it's also a setting that a lot of people can relate to, and it's also a very easy one to introduce characters with. How is anybody surprised by this?
Well, so, that is, of course, also true. Legendary Drops, the man himself, also chimed in on this clip. He wrote, I'd assumed most anime is in a high school setting because it's predominantly made for 18 and under. Like video games, while adults take part in it, the vast majority of the stuff is made for kids. I don't think it's as deep as not wanting to face, quote, Japan's dark reality, unquote.
That is a crazy thing. Just basically saying, like, Japan is such a dark place, and Japanese people are so miserable, they have to escape. Like, escape.
That's because people were fed this meme that there's a culture in Japan that's just like business oriented. Everybody's in business suits. They have to be quiet and super stern and serious all the time, which is definitely a thing. It's definitely part of the culture. But they think that's all of Japan. It's either that or the I can't speak Japanese. But you get what I mean with the peace sign thrown up. It's one of those two things happening in Japan. That's all people think.
Escapism is something shared across humanity. And to think that anime is something different when it comes to Japanese culture, that they have to rely on the escapism because everything's so dark and terrible, that's a pretty disrespectful thing.
I watched a man's best friend get possessed by a demon and rape his wife in front of him. Animes for kids, everybody.
For anyone to say, let alone Trash Taste, who's supposed to be these like cultured, not just anime enjoyers, but also these people who live in Japan and know so much about Japanese culture and society, or at least that's the impression they give people. But yeah, this is
they only know about the Japanese culture and society that they like. Anything that they don't like, they shit all over. I've used to listen to the podcast. They just were too fucking stupid. So I had to stop. I used to watch the Anime Man before Trump. Dude, so many people after Trump, even if it has nothing to do with Trump, the culture changed and they just, you know, were not, in quotes, chuds. Yeah, and I was just fucking out on all of it. They were just like pushing the gay shit, even if it was just like casually, and I couldn't stand it, man. I could not stay on.
This is a pretty bad take, and people say, oh, it's from 4 years ago. Okay. It's not that long ago, and also have they changed their opinion drastically over the last 4 years on the subject? I highly doubt it.
User would
it's
also
actually
comment
worse
on the Trash Taste clip. Let's see what this one says. The reason there are so many school life stories in Japanese content is that it's a shared experience among Japanese people, but for Americans who face a crazy education gap and end up with totally different school lives depending on income or race.
Also, Japanese people are in very close quarters. Like, the United States is super spread out, so the experiences that people have in America can be completely different for every single person that you talk to. It's not very different for each Japanese person because Japan's not that big.
That just doesn't click. It's the sad reality of an educationally backward country that can't grasp the phenomenon of, quote, public education becoming a shared national experience, unquote.
Ouch.
Similarly, we've got this take that says the reason there are so many high school settings is that high school is the last shared experience we can reasonably expect from readers, and that's the biggest factor.
Yep.
Quote, it's high school that's shown the brightest, unquote, is, well, not quite right, is it? If anything, for the otaku types, there are way more people who really come into their own after.
A lot of people in Japan, in a lot of anime, also portrays high school as the getaway because they're doing some kind of crazy work in real life. Like, look at Persona 3, right? High school is the relaxing time. That's when you go to chill. Because when you're not at the high school, you're fucking fighting demons in a tower.
Becoming working adults, freed from the shackles of money and obligations. I do wonder how accurate that translation was, specifically near the ending. And this explanation reading, it's because more than half of Japan's anime industry essentially belongs to the manga industry, and the best-selling genre in the manga industry is shonen manga, right? And lastly, this one with a variety of quotes that says, to put it bluntly, I can write about high school without research because I experienced it and remember it, so it's easy. I can skip explanations since there are so many parts that are common knowledge. It's more fun to write about spry young people. It's because of conveniences like that on the author's side that there are so many of them. By the way, I have zero desire to go back to high school. I don't want to do boring studying. You know what? We're so close to the 8-minute mark. Let's take a look at one more response. We've got...
Based. Okay, based. Okay, Hirohei wants to get to that 8-minute mark so he can put in mid-roll ads, okay? I like the transparency, okay? Good stuff. I like it.
You don't understand a thing, do you? The vast majority of what they call anime are adaptations of manga. So where are those manga published? Most of them are in shonen manga magazines. If something,
And guess who the
it's something
target
you
audience
figure out with a
is?
simple search. They're just ignorant, yet they're getting all drunk on their own ideas. That's all. And that's the situation.
They're getting drunk on their own ideals. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, there's a reason why.
I'm gonna bring up something else about, referring to high school. A lot of people that I knew in high school that liked anime and manga they were reading manga a lot because, high school is a manga reading setting. So obviously there's a target audience there. I don't know any adults, literally none of the people that I grew up with that were reading manga read manga now. So there's another one for why there's so much anime and manga. It's because people in high school eat that shit up, for one. Also, I think high schools are kind of cool. I like to see high schools and how they operate and what they're like in shows and movies and anime. My nephew was watching Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide not too long ago, and I was like, yeah, I see why I like this show a lot. This was very, very close to my high school experience without all the, the gags and stuff happening. But I was watching, what was I watching the other day that took place in a high school? And I couldn't relate to it because it was not the same high school experience that I had. It was a different kind of high school. It was weird. The culture was weird. I think it was because it was a 2018 high school. So people had cell phones and shit in the school. And I was like, what the hell? The cell phones were banned when I was in school. But I thought that was cool. I was like, high school has changed.
People are saying the Trash Taste podcast has an unironic name, right? They have been dishing out a lot of really bad takes. And this one, again, it's not just bad for a take relating to anime. It's bad for a take relating to Japanese society as a whole. It's a pretty outrageous thing to say that basically all of these people need a high school setting the only reason is because they need escapism from their terrible lives.
So dumb.
And that's just crazy. But yeah, it's pretty surreal to see Trash Taste getting I guess, no pun intended, a taste of their own medicine from Japan.
And also, they are an anime podcast. They watch every anime that comes out. The popular ones, the not so popular ones. And I think they're a little bit out of touch because regular people can't watch all the anime because it's not their fucking job to do that. So they have a skewed sense. And I guarantee you they don't get out very much. And whenever they do, it's just to have fun. It's not actually to live life.